Okay. Hello and welcome. So this will probably be, this is my, technically my second of the CyberPunk 2077 videos I'm making. The first one was my initial impressions video from last night, which will probably not be up on my YouTube channel until after this one because it's a very long video and it was broken into multiple parts and I had to stitch it together, and it's 5 gigs. And with my upload speeds, it's going to take freaking forever for me to upload it to my channel. So eventually it'll be up there for you to see all my initial foibles with the game. But after that, I spent late last night and a bit this afternoon, well, early this afternoon, and just trying to find some ways to tweak the game to make it run better here. So let me get it up here. Of a CyberPunk. Oh, I need to change back to the game. So, alright, so right off the bat, I need to kind of state what my specs are. My specs are on the lower end right now compared to what this game demands. My CPU is pretty good. I have an i7 8700K overclocked. It's close to 5 gigs, but it's usually around 4.5 gigs. It's fine. I have 16 gigs of RAM. I'm good there. I'm running the game off of an SSD, which is highly recommended for a game like this. And my GPU is probably my one weak point, which is a GTX 980. That's an almost 5-year-old GPU right now. 4 gigs of RAM. And believe me, I'm trying to crank as much performance out of it as I possibly can. I'm like squeezing it for performance here. Alright, but I have made some progress in getting the game to look good and run well. So you may see up in the little, right up in the upper left corner, my FPS. Right now I have this locked to 30 FPS, which is probably the most stable frame rate I am capable of maintaining on this game. Right now I'm running this at 720p. Now, let me show you here, just so you can see, 720p. Now, in order to get this to stream properly, I have to have my VSync and set to 30 FPS. Otherwise, if I set it to 60 or anything higher, it starts to go out of sync with OBS, and that just makes my stream just look terrible. So, however, I do want to say, at 720p, with my setup, it is very possible to get to 60 FPS. The only reason I'm doing 30 is because otherwise the stream will look like crap. If I try to stream above that, it doesn't stream properly for whatever reason. The combination of this game at 60 FPS and OBS is probably too taxing on my system. For some reason it is. I haven't really gotten into the specifics about why that is yet. So here's the graphics right now that I have set up. It is generally at the high settings right now. Now keep in mind, this is at 720p at 30 FPS. So if you want good visual fidelity with a stable frame rate, this might be a good setup to have. If you're trying to play CyberPunk on, say, a laptop that has 720p monitor, which I know is not great. 720p, 30 FPS is a pretty low bar for gaming, especially for PC gaming, I admit. I would much prefer to have 60 FPS. In fact, I did testing at 1080p for myself. Really the best stable frame rate I could get for myself at 1080p by tweaking the settings probably down to medium and turning a few other settings down is probably around 35 FPS, which is still playable. It's fine. It's not ideal, but it's playable. If I take it down a little bit to like 900p with the same settings, I can get it to around 45 FPS, which again is playable. It's not ideal, but it's playable. So really, I can only do 60 FPS at 720p. And the only reason I have a lot of these things cranked up high is because I can afford the overhead right now to bump it up this way, because I'm restricted now to 30 FPS. So I have a little bit of extra leeway to bump things up a bit here. But if you want to play at 1080p and you want to keep the game playable, the things I would suggest you take a look at changing. The depth of field, not necessary to have. You can turn it off. Lens flare, not really necessary. It doesn't really affect the FPS that much, but you can leave it on. Motion blur, I would definitely leave off. I have always found motion blur tends to be one of the biggest impacts to frames in a game. And personally, I don't really like motion blur anyway, so I leave it off. These filters, film grain, chromatic aberration, these aren't not necessary in my opinion. So I think these are pretty safe options to just leave off. That'll save you a few frames. Now going down the list here, this can get kind of into nitty-gritty, and you may have to... I would always suggest testing things out. See what works well in your system, even based on past experience with other high-end games. Like, I know from past experience with other high-end games, volumetric effects with my GPU will be a little bit more taxing. So those are usually my first choice in turning things down. Other than that, I have heard from plenty of people actually that the mirror quality can affect the FPS. So you might want to consider looking at that, turning that down. Besides that, I will look at the shadow quality, see if you can turn some of those settings down. The shadow quality is not essential to the gameplay. You're going to be hard pressed to tell the difference between the high and medium settings on this, I would say, so that's probably a safe thing to turn down. And probably work from there and see what works. I also have to, the big asterisk I always have to add is that everybody's system is different. My settings may not specifically work well for your system. You may be able to bump things up on your system that I'm not able to do on mine's. Likewise, there are probably some you may not be able to, you may not even be able to do medium settings very well. But you also have to kind of set your expectations. What's your goal? Right now, I'm just looking for a good balance between performance and visuals. That's what I'm trying to aim for right now. I can still play a game at 30 FPS. That's not a problem for me. I understand many in the PC crowd are extremely super picky about this sort of thing, and I understand totally. With an FPS game, I would prefer to have 60 FPS, or a driving game. I would prefer to have 60 FPS. But I have to acknowledge, that is not going to be possible here. My hardware just will not do that. So, with that out of the way, the only other thing I could suggest you can probably work on is maybe the crowd density option here. I have it set to medium right now. I actually turned it down to low, and I really didn't see any difference. Not in my opinion. So this may only really apply to like the really high traffic areas in the game. Because right now I'm not in a high traffic area. Let me show you where I'm at right now. I'm right here. There's not a lot of foot traffic in this area. And I was been kind of using this kind of as my testing area for the graphic options. So we've got light, we've got shadows, we've got some NPCs around. It's a little bit exterior area, and there's some interior space right here so I can look at. So right now, even with the high settings on 720p, I can, running around, I can maintain 30 FPS, no problem. No problem with this right now. So this is very playable to me right now. Now the only caveat to having 720p is that it's a little harder for me to read some of the tiny details on the GUI. Now that it's a little smaller. I think that's the only issue I might have. So when I'm playing this game probably on my own, off stream, I'm probably going to go back to 1080p and just see if I can maintain 30 FPS at 1080p with medium settings, and tweak it a little bit so that it stays stable. But for 720p, I can crank it up a bit to the high settings, and I can handle it. So, like I said, keep saying, this is not ideal, but this is playable. I've read so many messages on the Steam boards and Reddit about people having problems getting this game to run stable. I feel your pain, I do. I've heard people describe this as, this is the new crisis of this generation, and it kind of is true. This game will tax your system. I would say if you don't have like an RTX 20 series card, you are probably going to struggle with trying to maintain a 60 FPS frame rate in this game. But that said, even to people with the higher end cards, don't overblow your expectations here. This is a very taxing game, and it may not be as optimized as well as it should be. In the future, I expect it will get better. This happened with The Witcher 3. I know when The Witcher 3 came out, there were a lot of technical and optimization issues with that game. But over time, it got better. And I expect that will be the case with CyberPunk here as well. It will get better over time. It's just, keep in mind, the game's only been out for like, officially out for less than 24 hours now. So, give it some time. Give it some time. Alright, so, now that I got all this technical stuff out of the way here, let me show you where I'm kind of at in the game here. I actually started a different character last night. I went ahead and looked at what the corpo start of the game is like, and it's okay. Basically, it's interesting, but you're kind of playing as like an infiltrator in Arasaka when you start out as. But again, just like with the Nomad mission, it ends pretty quick. Probably only played for like 30 minutes or so. You can go through it pretty quick. And that probably is one of my complaints about the narrative so far, is that I wish there was more you could explore and do in that character beginning part of the game. Like I think I mentioned somewhere, I wish we could play more of that, more of V being established in Night City instead of just seeing a generic montage and boom, you're established already. I thought it would probably be better. Pardon my soda. I need some liquid. I just would have liked to have played through some of the establishment part of that. So, I don't think there's a way to look at my character. Actually, before I forget here. I still have that on. The nudity options. I did look at that on my own. It is fascinating for people who are into that sort of thing. It is done quite well, and I'm just realizing you can't control that in-game. I have to exit back out of the game to fix that here, so hold on. I have to go back to the main menu here. I just want to make sure it's turned off for streaming purposes. I don't want to run afoul of any prudes, but needless to say, you can adjust the size of body parts to a degree. There's only like 2 or 3 options. That's it. There's really not much to it. Turn that back on. So, this is my corporal character. I was playing this last night, just for curiosity. I actually got a little further in this than my nomad. My nomad's all the way back here. Let's just go back into this here.
Hey everyone, feels great to have you back. So then, did y'all hear
So,
about that Arasaka
so this kind of brings me into kind of what my second big gripe right now, but I am discovering about this game, and I hope this gets addressed in the future, and that is the character creator. I kind of messed around a lot with the character creator when I was making my corporal character. Show you what she not that what she looks like so far. So she looks okay. The problem is that in the character creator I was spending a lot of time trying to tweak and make her look good in general. Then the problem comes when I actually go into the actual game and she's in proper lighting. She doesn't look as good anymore. She looks kind of, pardon lack of a better term, looks like crap sometimes. And I was trying to figure out why, and I realized it's the lighting. The lighting in the character creator is not neutral, natural lighting. It actually skews the color appearance of the character and the skin tone, so that it doesn't match up with the way it's supposed to look in the rest of the game. And I'm finding that to be a bit of an issue. The other thing is the hair color dyes. I guess they're dyes or hair colors, but I'm a little annoyed that the hair color selection doesn't really reflect what the actual hair color looks like. Like, the hair on my character right now looks sort of green, but I specifically selected a blue color for the hair. So that just bugs me. It does. If I select the blue color for the hair, I expect the hair to look blue, not green. So I know it's probably not the top priority to fix, but CD Projekt Red, can we please do something about that? Because that's just... Because it reminds me back of... I remember when Dragon Age Inquisition came out. They made a big deal about their character creator, and it is still a pretty good character creator. But they also made a point to emphasize that they had natural lighting for the character creator, which enabled you to make your character accurately, so that it will look correct in the game. That was an important thing to have. Unfortunately, I don't think we have that in Cyberpunk 2077, because in the character creator it seems like there's this muted, warm red tone light in the character creator, and that sort of skews everything off a bit, which makes it really hard to get an accurate idea what the actual color in the character looks like. By the time you get into the actual game, the character doesn't look very good. Now, I know this is not an issue with the graphics, because other NPCs like Jackie, for instance, look perfectly fine. They look great. But then my own NPC character next to them looks like a patchwork or something. They don't look as refined or as well put together, and that just bugs me. So, also double with the fact that you can't adjust your character's physical aesthetics once you're in the game, so you can't really fix it after the fact. So yeah. Again, I hope that is something that gets changed in the future. Like, you can change your clothes, but you can't change your hairstyle. So that kind of bugs me. I have gotten more used to the way the game works from playing last night. There is still no option to holster your weapon. What you have to do in order to do so, you have to... Hold on. Like, if I bring my gun out, there's no way for me to holster it right away. I have to hold the Alt button and deselect of a weapon to actually holster it. There needs to be just one button for that. Just one button for key binding for my keyboard, just so I can do that without having to go into an extra menu to do that. Would be awesome to have. So, let me... I'll almost clear my throat here. Hold on. Enjoy my hands. Okay. Get rid of the hands, please. I don't need to look like I'm about to attack people. Alright. However, I know I'm kind of nitpicking about some things here, and believe me, I am. There's just stuff I gotta get through. There is one good thing. One good thing I am very pleased by. Right now I'm using keyboard controls, and voila. Now I'm using my controller, and I can't move. Okay, that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. I can't move. Weird. But I can use the controller for the cars, which is great. That was sort of my thing that I was very much looking forward to. Or I was until something happened here where I cannot use my accelerator. Thanks, game. I was about to show this off, and it glitched. Wow. Because that was working, like, before I went live on the stream. And now it doesn't work. Ah, yeah. This game feels as patchwork as a... I hate comparing it to, but a day one Bethesda game, like Fallout 4 or Skyrim. It feels like a day one version of that. There are so many weird bugs I have to deal with. And sometimes they do break things. And, okay. I can... Oh, okay, I don't know what's going on with my controller. I can reverse, but I can't go forward. What's going on? I swear this was working like 2 minutes before I went live. This was working just fine. And now it doesn't work right. Of all the things to break, there's like one button on my controller is not registering now. And the one thing I need to move the car is not working. Nope. Okay, so that is something that still needs to be fixed, apparently. I could try unplugging the controller and plugging it back in and see if that works. Nope, that didn't fix that. God damn it, like I really wanted to show that off. And the one time I want to show it off, it breaks. Awesome. Awesome. Let me just try restarting the game. Hold on. Ah. So many bugs, issues. I think that's the first bug I've run into. It actually kind of breaks something for me. Most of the bugs and glitches I've run into have mostly been just weird stuff, but it just the visual glitches and stuff like that. Like the person sitting on top of another person, or floating in the air, or T-posing, or the pathing of the AI cars is screwed up, so they're running into barriers and stuff like that. And floating items, we can't forget that. I found a floating hamburger just kind of floating in the air somewhere. And just, I took a screenshot of it. It'll probably show up on my Steam photos page. Alright, let me get the game going in here. See if just restarting it fixes that. This is probably not going to be too long of a stream here. Because I want to make sure this actually gets up on YouTube here. So let's try again here. Hopefully this is fixed now.
Hey everyone, feels great to have you back. So then, did y'all hear about that Arasaka aircraft carrier docked in Night City called Kujira or?
Alright. Okay, I can walk around with my controller now. So let's get into the car. There we go. Okay, it is so much more easier for me to drive the car with a controller, so I'm glad I had this option here. Now, last time I drove by here, there was some dude that actually jumped in front of my car and caused the cops to get alerted to me, so I'm trying not to let that happen again. Oh yeah, this is so much better than using a keyboard. Now I'm gonna have to switch back to using mouse and keyboard for when I do the first-person shooting segments, because I liked using my mouse for those parts of the game. Oh wait, that's not a handbrake, that's a radio. That's that. Where's my handbrake? Oh, we got reverse. Oh, that gets me out of the car. Get back in. The enter and exit buttons are different buttons. That's a little strange. Anyway, let's drive around for a little bit. At glorious 720p and 30 FPS. I just want to see what driving feels like in this game. It's not the same as GTA 5, I can tell you that. There's definitely a lot more weight to the vehicle. Look at all this smoke. Can't see. There we go. Actually, let's look at the map. Where are we at? Let's see if we can get... Can I put a marker? Okay, yeah, we can go that way. Alright, let's see if we can go out of the city. I need to get off the boardwalk here. First person? Driving? Which... I'd rather keep it as third person. Let's go look at the countryside. I know everybody's been looking at the city lately, so let's see if we can get out of the city here. It may take a few minutes because we're in like the thick of the city here. Let's see, if there's anything else I can talk about here while we're driving here. Like I said, I am getting more used to the way the game plays, so my initial impressions last night were a little mixed. but it is kind of growing on me. I am getting used to the way things work in the game, the way it expects you to play. Whoa, okay, wow. Okay, I can't leave the city. Okay. Well, we found that out. Ah, but I wanted to leave the city. I wanted to look outside the city. Oh well. That's unfortunate. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the road here. The gunplay still is a little spongy in the way it feels. But I have heard from some other reviewers who have played further into the game that it does get better when you get more further into the game and you start specializing more. Then you can start doing a lot more damage with your headshots and everything like that, and then it gets a lot better. I did get a katana for this character, and it actually is quite fun to use. I actually kind of like the using the katana. It's very fun. It's very visceral. It's just fun to kind of dash into enemies and just whack them with the sword. It's fun, but admittedly, it's probably not the most ideal way to play the game because it is a shooter sort of game. So you're gonna get shot at. And you do seem to take a lot of damage, like, really fast, too, by the way, so... I guess especially at these early levels in the game, so you gotta be, like, a little bit more on the cautious side when engaging opponents. Let's see what's over here. I think we're in the industrial area of the city. I'm probably not going to do any missions here just because I'm probably going to continue doing that on my own. But right now we're just going to take a look around and see if there's anything really cool. Like, I want to try and get to the countryside a little bit. If there's a way to get out of the city here. Oh, hostile area. Okay, never mind. Never mind, I can't get out. No, I'm not a hostile. I'm getting out of here. Don't shoot my car. I just got it. Prepare.
There you are.
Oh. I still don't know where my handbrake is on here. I'm like still trying to like figure that out. Whoops. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Whoa. Alright, so I'm back where I started here. And out of the car, and back to mouse and keyboard. I like that. I like having that seamless transition. So, actually, maybe we will do something here. There was so much junk here. I am discovering that I can like accumulate a lot of junk like really fast in this game, just by picking up everything and selling it. So I think this is an optional mission. We'll just see what this is about here. Just so we have something to do for the stream. Like, I am constantly getting, like, the messages for missions and whatnot. It's a hostile area. Okay. Check around, anything you can find. I know this is something that I saw mentioned by, Yang Yi on his review about the lack of a walk button, and I totally agree with that. Because that is a minor gripe. It would be nice to have a walk button. Going around the city. What is this here? Racketeer person. So yeah, just like in Metal Gear Solid 5, you can kind of mark people. You can track them. What am I looking at here? Oh, camera. Yes. Hacking is still a little clunky. I might have to readjust my controls for this here so it's not weird. Oh, I control the entire camera network, actually. Refrigerator. What can we do with the refrigerator? We can make it spaz out. Can I do anything to this dude? Let's see if we can do something with him. E9 or 5.5. Wait, how do I... Oh. Okay. What can we do with him? Short circuit. Let's do that. Okay, how do I exit? Let's see. Actually, no, we can probably go with the sword here. Oh, camera, right? Well, it's now action, but we can see where they're coming from. What did I do? Why am I stuck in the scan mode? No. Get out of the scan mode, please. No. Why is it stuck in scan mode? Ugh. Game. What the hell? Wow.
Let's kick it into high gear.
Oh my god. I cannot get out of scan mode. I'm stuck. So I can't attack. Oh, okay. Oh, it's on caps lock. Scan mode is on caps lock also, in addition to the tab. I must have hit that by accident.
What the fuck?
I was trying to run.
What a...
We got a little bit of level up. And that was it. That could have certainly gone better. Money. Some money. I don't know what this person is doing. I'll just leave him alone. They're playing a game. We'll just leave them alone. Who is Dr. Paradox? Let's turn the camera off. Oh, it's like a crossword puzzle thing almost. Okay. So we have to breach the interface first and then turn off? Oh, I can't do that. There's another person over there. Can I just shoot it? I can. That's always an option. There was another camera, I don't remember where it is. Right there. Get rid of it. Loot. Loot. What is this? Oh, it's just a... Is that rotten pizza? It's a head. Cue the action music. We were spotted again. But nobody's coming. Nobody came. Alright, where was this other body I keep seeing? I can't find it. So, yeah, what am I supposed to do with this person? Upload the malware to the system. Okay, how do I... That is... Ah, here we are. Not really clear what I'm supposed to do. Oh, here we go. I have to tap the button. Okay. Take your coffee. And leave the server room. Okay. Like, there's an item here I can't pick up. This is something I've seen happen like several times. There's items on the ground but I can't grab for whatever reason. So I would assume it may be possible that they can sneak in there and install the malware without killing anybody. That certainly I think is possible to do. I just didn't do it that well.
Happy, which means I'm happy, which means you get your eddies and everyone's happy. Contract closed. Thanks, V.
Cool. More street cred here. Character progression. My corporal character I was trying to basically make into more of a physical fighter. I 2 perks and an attribute point. Do I get reflex? Get that. Belay. I probably will try and focus on using a sword on swords with this character because it's actually fun. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So this is probably going to be about an hour here. Like I said, this is probably not going to be a long video. I'm not going to go into too much depth here. So yeah, so that's gonna be it for this. This is just a quick stream for the afternoon. So yeah, this will be up on YouTube probably well before my other initial impressions video, which I have to remind was filmed before this, so it's just gonna take a long time to upload. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and hopefully your time with CyberPunk 2077 will not be too bad. And see you next time. I am going to continue with the Illusion of Gaia randomizer tomorrow night. So, anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.